Hey friends, welcome back to the Finding Joy in Your Home podcast. I am Jamie Belmay. I'm your host, and today we're going to be talking about reading and reading goals. And I'm really excited to say I am more excited about my reading currently than I have been in a very long time. You guys know the last few years I haven't hit my reading goal, which is fine, but I've had a slump. Not completely, but haven't been super excited about reading. And right now I'm really excited about reading. So today will be fun. We're going to talk about kind of my current reading. I'm going to share some of the books I've been reading and what's kind of on my stack to read next. This is going to be fun. First, I want to share with you guys that this week is the last week to get our super awesome mega sale for the Joyful Home app. It is Joyful Home app 2.0. We have relaunched, rebuilt the app from the ground up to just make it so much more usable. But the thing I want to tell you about is all of the audiobooks. So if you're like, I really want to read some more this year, but I want to be able to listen while I'm cleaning and doing things, because you guys, audiobooks 100% completely count in your reading goals, then you need to check out our app, because it's not like Audible where you have to pay for every single book. You don't have limits. You can binge listen to everything on our app all at once if you wanted to. But I have all of my books on there. I have written 3 books. All 5 of my cookbooks are on there. Jason has theology guides that are on there. My books, I've got a book on Proverbs 31, a book on women's hormones, and a Christian's Guide to Natural Living. And then Jason has, and I have homemaking how-to guides on there. There is a lot there. Plus, we have our Christian classic audiobooks, and then we have tons of Christian books and classic works for kids and for families. So like Anne of Green Gables, The Secret Garden, The Little Princess, The Hardy Boys, Boxcar Children. The list is just insane. And then we've also have Jason's original fiction series for kids, The Sterling Spectacles, our National Park Adventure guides that go along with them. It is just amazing. And we're adding, on average, 4 new audiobooks a week. Charlotte Mason's original 6-book series is on there. So many things. Oh, we also have Jane Austen collection, 4 of Jane Austen's books, and each of them is like a dramatized edition. And it's like a full cast, like 28 cast, of actors that like read the lines. It is just amazing. So if you want to go check it out and get in on our mega awesome, incredible lowest price of the year, go to findingjoyinyourhome.com/app to check it out. All right. So let's talk about reading. I am at 57 books read for the year of my goal of 104. So I believe, okay, let me pull up Storygraph. I have been using Storygraph, the app, to track my books. You also can use Goodreads. I used Goodreads for many years, but Storygraph has a lot of tracking. They have like more like data on your books that's been really fun. So I've been tracking the last 2 years in Storygraph, which is really fun. So I can see right here. So I've read 54 books of 104 books for the year, which means I'm almost on track. I am 4 books behind. So I'm like 4 books off of schedule. So I don't know, with fall getting busy, starting school back up, will I hit 104 books this year? I don't know, but I'm really happy with this because I've also been really excited to read again this year. And that's been the last couple of years is I've been reading, but what I find is that when I'm really excited about my nonfiction pile of books, it just gets me more excited to read. And I have a lot of fun then reacting and going through the different nonfiction. And I've had a lot of fun stuff to study this year. And the nerdy part of me, I know to some people that's like, sounds so boring. The nerdy part of my brain absolutely loves that and just finds it so fun. And so I have had a lot of fun this year. I've been reading a lot on health, and that has just been really, really fun for me. So I find that finding a stack of books that you're excited about, books that you're excited to dive into, really is a huge motivator to me because I can finish one nonfiction and then just like pick up the next one. And I do read a lot of fiction too, but it's something about the nonfiction when I just get really excited about my learning that just really drives that and makes it more exciting for me to pick up the next book. And that's what I've kind of had this year, is just kind of this reinvigoration of books that's been really fun. So I'm going to share with you, I'm not going to share with you all 57 books I've read this year, but I'm going to share some of the books that have been really exciting for me this year that I've really loved. And this is going to show my nerdiness in full display. Okay. So you'll see the level that Jamie researches stuff. All right. The first books, I could only find one of them. I don't know. The other two are over there somewhere. Okay, so this book, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the cover. Otherwise, I'll describe it to you. This is called Cultured Food in a Jar. Yes, it's a cookbook. And yes, I read this thing cover to cover. Yes, I read cookbooks cover to cover. Not all cookbooks, just some of them. All right, so this is by Donna Schwank, and she has written 2 other books. So I read all 3 of these books back to back. Cultured Food for Health, Cultured Food for Life, and Cultured Food in a Jar. Now, here's the interesting to me. I got her first 2 books years and years and years ago. I mean, like 10 years ago. There are almost no pictures in them. Okay, this one actually has some black and white photos, if you can see on YouTube. But her other books like don't even have any black and white photos. And black and white photos only help so much, but they help more. But her first 2 had none at all. And when you're first learning something, a cookbook that has something like cultured food that has 0 pictures to show you like the different steps, what kefir is supposed to look like. And so I really kind of dismissed those books 10 years ago. And then now approaching these 3 books again with the knowledge I have about fermenting and culturing foods, because I know how to do it. I loved these books because I didn't need those pictures. Like I have the hands-on experience, and now I'm like, oh, these cookbooks are amazing. So I really have had a lot of fun going through these 3 books. So my nerd alert, what I'm studying right now really, really deeply is cultured and fermenting foods. So I have read about 9 books so far on the topic. I have a few more I'm wanting to research because, Lord willing, my next cookbook release will be on fermented and cultured foods. And so I'm having so much fun really experimenting in the kitchen, and then also really like the research and depth that I'm going in reading has been really fun. And I think that's what's been really motivating me, because it's a really fun work research project, but it also has been really fun health-wise for me. Like I am seeing so much change that it's just the topic that like I want to talk to everyone about. Like I was talking to my sister the other day and I'm like, good, how are you? So I'm drinking kefir and it's changing my life. Like it's like what I want to talk about. And so I'm having a lot of fun studying it as well. So what's going to be really fun is I'm going to make this cookbook into kind of that definitive beginner's guide resource where you can say, I am interested in cultured and fermented foods. What does that mean? Okay, this book is going to tell you, and it's going to teach you how to make all those basics, kefir, kombucha, like all the different fermented foods. And then you can, from there, could go deeper. So for example, when I first learned how to make kombucha, we've been making kombucha for a couple of years. I got like the Mac Daddy book. It is literally like this thick, it is several inches thick, called The Big Book of Kombucha. It is amazing. Yes, I read it cover to cover. It's also totally overkill for most people. And it's like $30 like just for that one source, and it's just kombucha. So if you want to go all in, kombucha is your best friend, you want to do this, it's a fantastic resource. However, then you also need a cookbook for kefir, and there's a great cookbook on Amazon that's like kefir something and something, but it's mostly just like, okay, you're going to get that for kefir. Okay. You've got the one cookbook, and then you want cultured veggies and you're going to get this cookbook over here. All of a sudden you have 12 cookbooks, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. So what I want to do is take all of those and put it into one definitive guide on how do you make all of these, obviously with full color pictures. So I've been having a lot of fun with that, but I do really like these books. I like a lot about these 3 books, and I had a lot of fun really diving in and reading these 3. The next book that I just finished reading, this one is fantastic. This is actually a book that I've had for several years, and I'm finally jumping back into doing this, is Fermented Hot Sauce Cookbook. So this one's really fun. It is a cookbook entirely on fermented hot sauces. And this one's fun. I'm actually not a big spice person, but my husband is. Like, he is like he could eat the hottest peppers on the planet and he'd be fine. Like, he is spicy. And several of my kids got his spice gene. And so he has been asking me this summer, hey, could you make those fermented hot sauces again? I had really started experimenting a couple years ago. Life got busy. I kind of just put them on the back burner. And so I'm jumping back in. I'm going to make sriracha this week. And then I've got a few more that I'm going to be really jumping back into. So this book has been really fun to just kind of get me back in that world of fermented hot sauces. And then once we kind of perfect a few, we'll definitely have at least a couple of those fermented hot sauce recipes in the cookbook. We're going to kind of have a sampling of everything, hopefully. And then the ebook that I'm actually, the audiobook I'm listening to right now is called... I rented it from the library. Nope, that's not it. It is called something, Missing Microbes. So this is a really interesting book. I'm not done with it yet. It's interesting, but it's also really research heavy. So like, I'm finding it interesting, but it can be a little dry. It's called Missing Microbes, How the Overuse of Antibiotics is Fueling Our Modern Plagues. But it's really, so far anyway, the focus is not really on antibiotics. It's really understanding the role that the bacteria in our body plays. And that's what we talk about when we talk about our gut health, probiotics. That's what we're talking about. And it is such a huge topic. And so I'm really kind of digging in and doing a lot of concentrated research right now on the gut microbiome, because in the cookbook, I want to have a really solid introduction so that if you're like, I know probiotics are important, but tell me more. I want to really write some really good intro material in that book, just for all of us. Like, so, because I love revisiting this topic and being like, oh yeah, like this is literally like one of the best things we can do, for asthma, for diabetes, for high blood pressure, for cholesterol, for losing weight, for kidney stones, for, I mean, like the list, allergies, like the list goes on and on. And so anyway, you can tell I get all nerdy about this. I have had a lot of fun with this topic, a lot of fun. So that's the book I'm listening to right now. And then let's share a couple of other books. The Summa Domestica. Okay. I'm like not even a quarter of the way through this book yet. Jason got me this 3-book series for Christmas. Really nice, like hardcover books. They've been highly recommended to me. It is a Catholic author. And they're supposed to be really, really good. I started reading it and then my reading like just went in a different direction. Actually, I think I couldn't find the book for a while. This is what always happens to me. So I started reading something else and then I just never went back to it. So I finally just this week pulled this back out and I'm going to be starting this again. So I will update you guys in the future. A lot of people are like, is it any good? I have no idea yet. I'll let you know. It's good, been good so far. So I'll let you know as I dig into it. But this is book 1 of the 3-book series. Okay. Next, I'm going to share with you, I probably talked about this on my Health Journey podcast episode, my love affair of the century of a book. You guys are going to be like, Jamie's ridiculous. I am. Okay, so this book right here, Trim Healthy Wisdom. This is Trim Healthy Mama's newest book. It just came out this year. Jason got it for me for Mother's Day. And if you can see on the video, this is a honker of a book. It is like 960 pages. And I read it cover to cover, read the whole thing. There's a lot in here. Like it was too much to hold in my brain. So I used an Audible credit and I got the audiobook and I immediately listened to the audiobook afterwards. And I have zero regrets. Like I thought, is this going to be a little boring? But the audiobook of this book, the authors themselves read it and they give a lot of commentary. So somebody had told me that and I was like, okay, like I probably wouldn't have read it except for I thought they're going to give more commentary. So they'll go off script sometimes and like talk about other topics deeper. And I did read and listen to this over a couple of months. And so it was great because it wasn't like I just read the page and then listened to it like a day later. It was spread out enough that I felt like it was amazing. And it really does coincide with so many of the health things that I am currently working on. The focus of this book is for people for women in perimenopause, going into menopause and after. So if you are 40 plus, 100% get this book like right now. Don't even think about it. You need it. If you're under 40, there's still really good things to take away, but a lot of it's not going to necessarily directly apply to you when you are in your childbearing years. However, and I'm not in perimenopause yet. However, I want to walk into perimenopause well. I want to already know what I'm going to be walking into in the next decade, right? And so I loved this. I loved it. Now it is really big and there is a lot. So it's definitely one that you could read a couple chapters and take a break and read a few more chapters take a break because it's a lot. And I loved having my physical copy because like this thing is highlighted and like I will be revisiting many parts of this in the future. But they are the ones that finally convinced me that I need to return back to kefir. And my smoothie recipe I make every morning is from one of their recipes. So I feel like I owe a lot of my current health to them. And I'm very thankful for that. So Trim Healthy Wisdom, it's called A Journey of Hormone Harmony and Lasting Wellness. I highly recommend it to all women, but especially if you're getting up 40 and above for sure. Or if you're in your 30s, late 30s, and you're really feeling like you're experiencing perimenopause symptoms, it's really fantastic. Okay, some other books that I've been reading currently. Let's see. Oh, I just listened to the autobiography, My Life in France by Julia Childs. So interesting. I listened to the audio and the reader does a really, really good job. And I am so embarrassed to say, I know like nothing about Julia Child, like nothing. I've never seen her show. I know she has a cookbook out there. I mean, and I know people are like obsessed with her and her show and everything. And as much as I love to cook, I know nothing. And I'm on the hunt now for her book at like, I've been looking at thrift stores and like used bookstores and stuff. Like I want to get her book eventually, or a couple of her books. But her, seminal work is Mastering the Art of French Cooking, one, and then there was a second one. And so I just dove in because I really, really like biographies. And this one, I don't know where I got this one recommended. I don't know if I saw somebody who said it was really good, but somehow it was on like my Libby, which is like your library where you can rent audiobooks. Somehow it was on like my Libby account. And I was like, oh, look, it's available. I'm going to listen to it because that's how I pick things to read sometimes. Because if I don't just start, I'm not going to read. And so I just finished listening to it and it was really good and it was really interesting. I just found, I think being a cookbook author myself, there was so much that I found fascinating. So maybe someone else wouldn't find it as fascinating, but I just loved the whole thing. I thought it was really interesting. I also found it interesting that Julia Childs was very liberal, especially for her day. She was extremely liberal. And so that was really interesting. That's not what I would have expected from like Miss Cook, right? So there was I think it's really interesting to learn about historical people like that. And I will never look at Julia Childs the same way again. But the audiobook was really interesting. And I'm really, from listening to it and seeing how meticulously they put together their cookbook, I'm so interested to get my hands on Mastering the Art of French Cooking. My husband is French. So both of his grandparents were born and raised in France. And so like he is very French. And I love that connection. And so, yeah, I need to get that cookbook. And just at least to like, I don't know, to go through it and do some of the basic recipes would be really fun. So My Life in France was really interesting. And then the movie, which a lot of you are probably laughing. You guys have probably already like know about Julia Childs and like watched the movie. But then right after reading that, I watched the movie Julie and Julia, which is based on Julia Child's life. And then also this blogger in like 2002, Julie, who picked up Mastering the Art of French Cooking. And I believe it's based on a true story. And she decided she was going to blog her way. In 1 year, she was going to cook through all like 450 recipes in the cookbook. And she like blogged her way through it. And she got a book deal and like all this stuff. So the movie juxtaposes her life in modern 2002 with Julia Child's life in 50s, 60s. And it was really interesting. And it's Amy Andrews, I believe, and Meryl Streep. So it was really interesting. Okay, so that was just fun. And then another book that I listened to a couple months ago was How to Stitch an American Dream. This book was really interesting to me. It is by the creator of the Missouri Quilt Company. So if you're not into quilting, Missouri Quilt Company is like a really big quilting website. And I didn't even realize that they're just like an American owned business, family run. And so the book, I picked it up on a whim. Sometimes that's the best. I listened to it as an audiobook, and it was just the story. It was the autobiography of starting their company and going from nothing. And they had a large family. They had 6 or 7 kids, and they had nothing when their kids were young, and seeing just how like they had zero money, and she didn't start this business till like her 50s. So it was just so, I love seeing like small business, just how small businesses are built. To me, as we build our small business, is so interesting. And then just the quilting aspect of it, because I love quilting. So that one was it was a really fun listen. And if you guys have any other, I'm always looking for fun biographies, just like How to Stitch an American Dream or My Life in France. If you have any other recommendations for me, it doesn't have to be someone who wrote a cookbook or a business, but I love biographies of that kind. So if you have any recommendations, let me know. And then the last fun thing that I absolutely blew through and had so much fun reading was the new Hunger Games book. So I grew up reading Hunger Games. I mean, I was a teenager, I think, when they came out, right? Or I read them as a young adult. I don't remember, but read them when they were coming out. And always actually really liked the Hunger Games. And the 2 new books, I read the new book that came out in 2020, and then this new one that just came out this last year, right? This year. I forget the names of them, but I read the newest book because I was like, I really just need a fun fiction that'll just kind of suck me in. Read the newest book. Then I was like, well, I got to go back and read this other new one. And then I read that one, and I was like, well, now I need to read the original trilogy. So I ended up reading all 5 books, like straight through. And so I told Jason, you need to read this new one because it's really good. And it was really fun, like being these like YA, not super like advanced, works of literature. They were really fun. And the 2 new books, I feel like, were amazing. And there's so many characters, and there's so much that just makes the world big, that when you go back and read the original series, then there's so much that adds to it that I actually, like, I always would have been like, yeah, it's a fine series. Now I'm like, oh, I loved that series. Like, it was really, really fun. So it is a fiction series. I don't do fiction recommendations a whole lot because people get very uptight about fiction. And so if you don't like the Hunger Games, that's okay. We can still be friends. No problem. But those were a really, really fun. Those were a fun read. And then I'm actually getting ready. I've been talking about this all year. One of the next series I'm finally going to be going back to is Lord of the Rings. I had started it last year, I believe. And I don't know. I think I was pregnant and tired, and I was just having trouble focusing. Which is silly because Lord of the Rings is amazing. And so I'm finally going back to that. And I think I'm just going to start over completely and actually go through them. So those are the few of the things. So I will be reading Lord of the Rings soon, the Summa Domestica. I'm going to be reading all 3 of these. I will report back. And then I have got some more research books, more like The Missing Microbes, just about like the gut microbiome and how it all has to do. I started another book called The Gut-Brain Connection or something like that. And the reader was so dry. I was listening to it as an audiobook, and I was really tired one day, and I was like, I can't get past the introduction. But the information in it seems really interesting. So I will hopefully go back to that. All right. Well, I'm going to leave you guys there. Please let me know just if you've read any of these, what you think and what you're currently reading. If you have any book recommendations for me, I am always happy and willing and ready to take book recommendations. If you're looking for some audiobooks to listen to, don't forget to join our app. Go to findingjoyinyourhome.com/app, where we have our mega awesome, incredible, lowest price ever sale going on. And you can do monthly or you can do annual. You can subscribe just for 1 month and binge listen to everything you want to, and then quit if you want to. We make it very, very easy. You can do whatever you want. And you'll get a really good sale on the monthly or the annual, but the annual is a lot cheaper and comes out to like $7 a month. So super cheap. We try to make it very, very affordable. But you do get access to all of our audiobooks. On average, we're averaging 4 new audiobooks a week right now. And we split between like audiobooks for women, audiobooks for men, audiobooks for kids, classic works, original works. We just have a really amazing growing library there, which is awesome. And Jason and I both have some more. Oh, you know what? You know what we have coming in September? Jason and I have co-written, why have I not talked about this? Jason and I have co-written a fantasy series that book 1, it's called The Rooted Lands, book 1. Book 1 is called Hearthstead. Hearthstead will be coming in our fall bookstore if you want to order a physical copy, or the audiobook read by me will be in the app probably in September. We are just now finishing up our very final edits, those edits that make you just go, oh, like, we missed a word, you know, those not fun edits at the very end. And then as soon as those are done, I will be starting to record the audio. But this is a really, really fun book. We really set out to write this series. It's going to be a 4-book series. We really set out to write this series because we wanted a female protagonist. We wanted a female lead character who was strong and amazing in a feminine way. And so often modern literature is this incredible female protagonist, but she's gonna put on armor and she's gonna fight just the same as all the men. And basically it's just like, I mean, and you could make that case for Hunger Games, absolutely. But like, she's just, you know, she's the same as a man. Like she's awesome because she's just like a man and she can hold her own and she's gonna go off and go to war and do everything that a man can do. And yet we want to show that women have strength and that women are incredible for being women, and that you can have a great story with a strong female protagonist who is a woman, who doesn't have to be like a man to have value and be amazing. And so that was really kind of the genesis of like, I want to write a book like this. And then Jason and I have spent the last year really kind of just, what would the story be? And we have come up with a really fun, it's like a fantasy / almost kind of sci-fi, but don't let that scare you because it's not like robots in like outer space or anything like that. But it is a little bit dystopian. You're just going to have to see, like it's really fun. And so that's going to be coming to the app if you need a great, and it's totally, obviously completely clean. It's going to be something the whole family can listen to. The main character is, I think, 16 or 17. I forget I don't think it's ever said. We just kind of aged her at that. Yeah, and it's awesome. It's really fun. I'm biased, but it's really fun. So the audiobook for that will be coming to the app in about September. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. If you do want to go check out the app, go to findingjoyinyourhome.com/app to go check it out. And I will see you guys back here next week for the next episode.